See if we're getting a bad echo like we were before. Where are you? Come on. There it is. Where are you? There it is. Where are you? There it is. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I really am. I don't know what's going on.
So I'll go get it in a minute. You should do the race winners interview here first. Just let me go check that water while I'm at it, actually.
Alright, Keith, you got like background music going on in your game? Like game music or whatever? Because all I can hear is background music over the...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all in the background. Alright, welcome everybody back to the Indy 500 post-race here up in the SCL Indy 500 booth. We have race winner Tier Nizzle here with us. He did an awesome job at the end there and held on to it. How did you do it there, Tier Nizzle? What were you thinking in the final laps?
Main point I was trying to keep ahead of was using my arrow to the other people's disadvantage. Whenever Carlin would get a run on PT, I tried to get PT the boost. I know running too wide, your cars get real loose, so I was kind of hoping for that. I saw that happen a couple times. When PT was putting on the block a little bit, I know I definitely try to use that dirty air mechanic to kind of get their cars loose.
It was definitely working. We could see the dirty air effect in Carlin quite a bit there.
Yeah, there's a couple times I saw him get loose. So I thought I did that pretty well. That probably saved me a little bit there.
And it's PT trying so hard to get the win there. Carlin and its PT were fighting very hard behind you, let you get out to a little bit of a lead, and that's probably what won you the race.
Yeah, that and Carlin not really being able to take his run anywhere. That first little run he got, just didn't really have much there.
So how do you feel? You're an Indy 500 champion. The title's going to live with you the rest of your life here in the SCL.
Yeah, feels damn good.
You weren't able to compete in the Daytona 500, but this is a great way to come back and the biggest open wheel race of the season.
Yeah, it certainly definitely makes up for it. Yeah, overall, I'd just like to say these, like the last couple of restarts, really helped out. I know I got taken out like one of the last 3 or so, and then I was able to take advantage of that. Some people in front of me got a real bad start, and I was able to jump ahead quite a bit. And then I got that one run on PT, like the second to last or third to last caution. It was the third to last caution. I kind of stuck back so I could get a run down the backstretch, and it worked like a charm. Thankfully, he didn't block me like he was doing to Carlin earlier, and I was able to make the pass on the outside. So that worked for me.
Yeah, great race. Speaking of Carlin here, Carlin, how'd you do there in those final laps?
Well, I think it was a good show altogether. The at the final laps there on the restart, yeah, it was fine. I will go public and say that was a Bush League move by PT. He put me all the way down to the wall, but you know, I did the best I could. I think he tried to give me room by the time we got to the corner, but I was already up beside him. So there was nothing I could do about it. That was my best run, best shot at getting towards tier. Other than that, the race, I mean, what can you say? I feel like Mario Andretti. You know, we were running out and doing everything we wanted to do, and ran away from the field, and cautions brought it back, and then we still had the track position, but then got caught up in a wreck and had to come through the field, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I think you and Rita probably had the two best cars. Those bow ties were out front, and huge leads every time you guys got hooked up together. Rita St. James, what did you think of at the end there?
I thought it was a very good race, yes. It was a shame the caution sent us backwards, but like Carlin said, that's racing, you know. I felt that Carlin and I probably would have taken that if it wasn't for the cautions, but, you know, it is what it is. But it was a very good race. The car felt very comfortable. It was so easy to drive, which is something I don't usually say. And Carlin and I seemed to just gel. And we just, like Carlin said, we just went away from the field every time there was a restart. I mean, I think at one point we were over 10 seconds ahead, you know. So, good win to Tierney. Yeah, it was a good race.
I can tell you they were asking us in the room afterwards, and the truth is we tested for stability in traffic. We wanted to go with a car that we could run, and I think that if you watch the feed, you realize that we didn't ride on top of each other. We didn't ride on top of people that we were coming up on if we could avoid it. And that's really what it is. It's nothing tricky that we're doing other than the way that you drive the car, the distance you manage with the other cars. You manage to make sure that you manage your dirty air. We tried to run in a position where you weren't going to push too much if you were in the back, or get too loose if you were in the front. And that really
takes. I mean, you could see the guys that were trying to come up and draft up towards you, and they just one of the car in front would push up a little bit, or the car behind would slide up to the wall, or get in the fence a little bit, or get down on the apron, and nobody was just making perfect lines like you guys were, holding on to it and making those clean runs, just driving nice and clean and staying with each other, where the guys that were trying to get up to you, they just weren't in sync enough to make a good run or draft up to you.
I'll be honest with you, what it looked like there, I wanted to say over the mic at one point, you could have dropped the names Kip and Colio on those two cars, and you would have thought that's what it was at that point, because we used to see that all the time with Kip and Cole in the Team Dana days in all different types of cars.
Yep, like Kip said, you rolled out his old car and you guys were looking good. But yeah, I was very happy with the end there. I was jumping up and down. You could probably hear my excitement over the mic of Tierney getting his first Indy 500 championship. He did a hell of a job driving at the end there. You can't take anything away from him there.
Oh, absolutely not.
It looks like the dirty air was just getting you guys. I mean, Rita came up. She was fourth. She started to make her run, and she got real loose. We were riding on board with her, and she just slipped and slided away from her with the dirty air.
I did.
Yep. And,
just that last couple of laps, I just slipped out a bit.
Yeah, PT was driving for all he was worth there at the end, making blocks and trying to get the win. You can't really fault him for trying to win there. It's, nothing super dirty, just blocks like you got to do it in super speedway racing. Real hard racing.
No, I told him in the room. I told him afterwards in the room. I said that's not a penalty situation, but I was beside him while he was doing some of that pushing towards the wall. And now that I look back, I probably should have just let him hit me and held my position and been like, all right, if you're gonna wreck, you're gonna wreck. Because I had my run. I set him up coming through 3 and 4. I got off of him a little bit, and I got onto the throttle coming off of 4, and I had the move where I wanted it. And then when I pulled up beside him, he started coming over. I started drifting over, and by the time I got all the way to the inside wall, he relented. But yeah, I mean, it's not something that's going to get you a penalty, but it's not going to endear you to anybody else when you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, great race, very exciting there. We obviously didn't want to see the rash of yellow fevers, as we'd been broadcasting for 6 hours at that point, and yellow after yellow got kind of boring, but all the excitement came right back into it at the end there, and very exciting finish to the Indy 500, as it always is.
Yeah, it was a great race. I think everybody was good. I'm not going to blame too much. I mean, most of the trouble was the same things over and over again, though. You do want to see the drivers grab that. You know, if you're spinning out on a restart on lap 5, that's one thing. When it's happening on the 5th or 6th one, you're starting to look at them thinking, have you learned yet?
Well, you see a lot of that was, you know, people would, all the pack would jump in the pits, a couple people would stay out, then you have slower cars that were up in front as they started to slide back, and the faster cars tried to pass, and you have incidents caused by that, so.
Overall,
yeah,
through the race, I really noticed that people would travel in packs of 2 or 3, and never really more than that, because it seems like that 4th person would get so much dirty air, he just couldn't hold the line.
Yeah, that's what Rita had at the end there. She was 4th car line, trying to make that big run at the end, and the dirty air just got a hold of her, and then even Carlin, you could see he was getting, the dirty air was taking all the air downforce off his front wing. And
yeah, when I saw him and PT going into turn 1 like that, my eyes started glowing a little bit, because I knew if I chopped down like I did, I'd probably get one of them loose or something like that, just so I can pull away, hopefully get away from the draft.
You jumped down to the inside and made Carlin go to the outside. I almost thought Carlin was going to make the move around the outside, as much head of steam that he had going, but it was just too little too late. He started to slide up in that outside groove, but I think the outside groove was really starting to form there.
It was at the end, yeah.
But overall, very good racing. You got a good race to watch there, the replays and everything, and I think it was a good race all in all. Any final comments from you guys?
Yeah, I thought it was a great show. It's the final, or the 10th one of this event, and it lived up to the billing. We had some good racing, and we'll just hope to get everybody out tomorrow night at Camel GT at Laguna Seca.
Rita St. James, Tiernizzle, anything to add there at the end before we sign off?
Overall, just, you know, couple too many cautions, in my opinion. We can definitely run better than that. But, overall, they actually did play in my favor, so I can't complain too much. But, good race overall. It was fun. I had a blast out there, so I guess that's the best thing I could say.
Shine that trophy up, bud.
Yep. When do I get the Borg Warner in the mail?
Shortly. Drink your milk.
All I got is chai tea. That'll work, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Rita?
Yeah, I think good job for everyone. In most parts, the back markers were very good. You know, they knew that we were coming, and most of the parts they really did their part and made way for us, which I appreciated at the time, you know. So yes, good job everybody, and well done Tia.
Yeah, I think it was a great race for our 10th running here. I think we're going to have another couple good races here the rest of the weekend with Laguna Seca's trophy race for the Camel GTs and the National 300 Winston Cup race back here at Indianapolis under the lights, but nothing's going to live up to what we had.
Don't forget
today.
Monaco.
At Monaco F1 race, definitely at 11:30 Eastern Time on Sunday. For all of you foreign drivers, that's probably a better time for you to race, but F1 should be a good race as we try and get the F1 series going. But like I said, the Laguna Seca Trophy race is going to be a good race out there in Laguna Seca, and National 300 under the lights. But nothing's going to live up to what we had here, and nothing has as much prestige as the Indy 500 or Daytona 500 does for whatever form of racing you are in. And this was the biggest open wheel race of the year, and it definitely lived up to its name, and they're just going to get better and better as we go along with everybody learning new software and some of the older veterans coming in, and it's going to be good racing. Go ahead and wrap it up there, Warren, Keith. All right, I think we lost our